All right, so we are here recording the second interview of a series on the impact of the pandemic on foreign students and foreign professionals in the UK. And I have with me Sabrina Figueroa Hernandez. Is that how your name is supposed to be said?
Sort of.
Okay. How is it supposed to be said?
Figueroa
Figueroa.
Hernandez.
Okay. I thought the O was
Mhm.
silent. Okay, sorry. So we have with us Sabrina Figueroa Hernandez, who did a master's degree in conference interpreting at the University of Manchester. She finished last year, and she is what we might call a young professional now. Like she fits that definition. She's not in the UK right now. She is in Florida. She's in Miami, and she joins us from there. So welcome, Sabrina, and
Thank you.
I'm very grateful that you said yes to doing this interview. So let me start by asking you to speak a bit about your background, like your academic background, what you studied, where you studied, how you or when you decided to come to the UK for studies. Because I'm guessing for you, it wasn't free, right? You had to sort of pay. Yeah.
I paid everything. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just tell us a bit about your background, and then we can take it from there.
Okay. And it's not that straightforward, but let me try. So I went to school in Colombia. I was born in Colombia, born and raised in Colombia. And I went to a German school. It's a network of schools funded by the German government.
Mm.
And I studied 13 years in that school. I even had an exchange student program when I was 16 to Germany. So I lived in Germany for 6 months. And during the last 2 years of high school, I was able to, in addition to knowing Spanish, of course, learning German from kindergarten, and then from the age of 9, started learning English. During the last 2 years of high school, I was presented with the opportunity of learning French in school. So I graduated high school.
One small thing I think you forgot to mention. You lived outside the EU. You are from Colombia. Yeah.
I am from Colombia.
Yeah.
I lived in Colombia until I was 32 years old.
Sure.
Yeah. So I graduated high school speaking 4 languages, but because of lack of careers or programs offered in my hometown, I decided to go for business administration. That's my undergrad. But I have to say, I wasn't very happy with my choice. I tried to go along with what I had for a few years, but then I decided to pursue a career in languages.
Mm-hmm.
I was always interested in interpreting. It's something that I always thought. Languages, they're not easy, but languages have always appealed to me, again, because of my high school.
And you spoke so many of them already.
Yes, exactly. So I decided to take advantage of what I was giving in high school and try to work with languages. That decision came along very late in life. I was 32 when I decided to completely change my career. And then I moved to France to resume my French language.
And this was after your undergraduate degree in business administration, was it?
Yes, that was. I had already graduated from business administration. I would say not 8 or 9 years after graduating after taking my undergrad. I decided to start all over again and try to start being an interpreter. Mm-hmm. So I moved to France in 2015. Mm-hmm. I studied for an entire year nonstop French. I got my C2 level in French, and I decided to take a master's degree in conference interpreting in France. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I wasn't accepted at the university in Paris.
Oh,
And so I
was this,
decided to,
was this at
yes,
Sorbonne? Like, what university was it?
there are two actually, but for the one that I could apply, it's a private one. It's called ESEAT.
Okay,
So it's like a superior institute of interpreters
sure,
and translators.
sure.
It's like the private version
Hmm.
of the same
University.
program from the public
Yeah.
university. And then I decided to apply for other countries, and that's when I met University of Manchester.
Right.
I also applied for universities in Brussels and
Sure.
in Spain.
Sure.
I was accepted by the University of Manchester, and it was a no-brainer. Of course, I went in. I studied for an entire year. My master's is a full-time 1-year program, and here I am. I graduated
Right.
December of last year, and that's it. That's my academic background.
A couple of questions here. So when you said you moved to France and you
Mm-hmm.
studied for a year and then you took these exams, and since like uh, one of the main topics of the interview, one of the main topics of the conversation that the interview is trying to address is visa issues. So what was the visa that you went for when you moved to France? Or does France have like a treaty with Colombia that allows Colombians to?
No,
Okay.
no. I had to apply for student
Job
visa
seekers?
in France.
No, but were you a student already when you, like, did you have an academic offer from a school or an institution when you applied for that visa?
Yes, I was already enrolled
Right.
in the French
Okay.
program at the
Okay. Okay.
Sorbonne.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why I said Sorbonne earlier, because the way you said it, it sounded to me a bit like you just moved to France to see
Right.
what
No.
life had on offer for you, and then
No,
you
no, no, no,
took,
not at
took a
all.
few
I
courses.
went in to
You
study.
went in to
Like,
study. You studied for a year,
yes.
then applied
Yeah,
for.
studied for a year, then stayed for a while in France as 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 far as my visa allowed
Sure, sure,
me to
sure.
be.
Of course.
And then I started the whole process of
Yeah.
applying for university. I had to wait an entire year after I got rejected. So
Yes, yeah,
that
as you
took,
said. So
yeah.
another related question that I was just about to ask you was, you said you couldn't get accepted into that private university that you spoke of in France, and you applied to
Mm-hmm.
places in Brussels, you applied to Manchester, you applied to places in Spain, and
Spain.
then
Mm-hmm.
you had an offer from Manchester and you came to Manchester. But UK was out of the Schengen area, right? I mean, it always
Mm-hmm.
was, and of course now it's out of the EU. And as we were discussing earlier, like it wasn't going to be a funded masters for you. You had to pay, and you had to
Yeah,
pay the overseas amount, right? Not the home amount. And as people might know, like the overseas amount oftentimes is twice or more than
it
twice
is. It is
home amount.
twice. Exactly
The home
twice.
amount,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. In some cases, it's like the home amount is 9,000, the overseas amount is 20,000 or 10,
Mm-hmm.
29, 18, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
um, how did you, like, why did you choose Manchester and not, say, Spain or Brussels? Was it because
Um,
Manchester department was a better department?
it was. I chose the universities from a pool of
Mm.
institutions that are aligned with the
Oh, yes. Okay.
with the interpreting
Like the standards,
department of the European Commission. It's
European
called
Commission. Yeah.
SKIC. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they have these universities that they work with, um, and it just appeared to me as though it is sort of a quality
Right.
standard, like a quality stamp. You
So,
know,
so,
if the European Union is working with these universities,
sure.
then
So I'm
they should
guessing
be good.
So I'm guessing an expectation often is that a student graduating from one of these universities that, I mean, that are aligned to these things, as you said,
Exactly.
will find a job or an internship working as an interpreter at the European Parliament or at some EU institution. That would be the that would be a fair assumption or an expectation to make. So when you, because I mean, again, like coming back to the visa issue, so as you were finishing your degree, did you see or did you learn anything about how the EU, non-EU issue can sort of be more important than you had perhaps anticipated? Because
Definitely.
yes, okay. So when you were trying to say get yourself an internship or a job, so I am guessing if you had a EU, if you were a citizen of a EU country, it would have perhaps been, I don't know, little easier because the visa issue wouldn't have been there. And even if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't get a job straight away, maybe you could have, I don't know, stayed at home for a few months, tried different
Mm-hmm.
things, and then uh, applied when the second round came in. Like, is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, no, definitely. The thing is, I mean, you completely highlighted the
Mm-hmm.
point,
Mm-hmm.
which is there are two ways to work as an interpreter for the EU,
Right.
at least for the European Commission. And that is, you are either a staff interpreter or you are a freelance interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
To be a staff interpreter, you must be a European citizen.
Right.
Being a Colombian, I am simply not allowed
Yes.
to be hired by them. I didn't know that.
I was going to say, did you know this?
My
Yeah. Yeah.
teachers, my trainers didn't know that. I found out
That's a bit
when we
sinister.
went with the program. We went in March to the European Commission to meet the interpreters, to have some practice sessions, dummy booth, which is going into the booth, interpreting, but with the mic off. So yeah, we had like 3 days with the European Commission, which was an amazing experience. But then on the first day, I found out that I could not be a staff interpreter. And then the second choice, which is to be a freelance interpreter, is completely out of the question as well, because with the student visa, I cannot work as a freelancer.
That's right.
The student
That's right.
visa only allows you to work
The tier four
with a
student visa.
contract.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't even allow you to be self-employed. And
So
freelancing
I was
requires.
completely heartbroken.
It's the
I was,
saying, getting stuck between a rock and a hard place.
it's terrible, especially because the program is completely goes around being an interpreter for the EU, or at least for the big institutions, the UN and the EU. It's a lot harder to work for the UN.
Yes.
But their main focus is work for European institutions, and I couldn't do that.
That's right.
So it was a
It was a
huge
scam.
door closed in my face. It was horrible.
I mean, the fact that it wasn't properly sort of made clear to you when you joined and
And
when you agreed to pay all that money is just
exactly.
quite sinister. And the thing that's even more sort of sad in this case is that you speak English, German, French, Spanish,
I
all
speak
the languages.
European languages only. I
Wait,
speak European
no, no,
languages,
no. I mean, you speak
you
German,
know?
German and French as well, right? Very well.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, German, I must say,
I mean, you
is
went to a German
now
school, you said.
very, very rusty because I
Okay.
have not spoken German since I graduated high school. But, and German is not, for example, in the UN, they have 6 main languages, and German's not one of them.
Oh,
French, Spanish, and English definitely are.
what are the other
So
three?
the other 3 are Chinese,
Mandarin,
Arabic,
Arabic.
and Russian.
I mean, I know that India was pushing Hindi to be made one of these languages because apparently,
Mm,
apparently Hindi has more speakers than Arabic.
of
But
course.
no, no, no. But the thing is, Arabic is the official language of, I don't know, 14 countries or something, and Hindi is just one country. So yeah, I see. Okay, okay, Russian. I mean, that's still leaving out the, well, I'm guessing no one really cares that much about the indigenous languages of, I don't know, South Africa or
Of course. No. I mean, those are the official languages
official
of the
languages.
UN. That is not to say that, they
I
won't allow
Yeah.
anyone to
No, I know
speak
knowing
them.
I know knowing French is very important if one is trying to be a diplomat in the UN because so much of the French Commonwealth in Africa, like you can't do anything, any deals with them if you don't know French and Spanish, of course. Like I think to this day, I mean, people keep going on about like again to pull out an Indian example, the Indian diplomat pool is very limited. Like we don't have as many diplomats as we should. I think New Zealand has more diplomats than India. New Zealand.
Which is a
And
tiny country.
to be honest, like New Zealand has too many diplomats, like more diplomats than they can sort of that they need than they need. And I remember to this day there are a number of Spanish-speaking countries from Central America and South America who have embassies in New Delhi, the capital of India, but India, to the best of my knowledge, does not have embassies in those countries, simply because we don't have as many Spanish-speaking diplomats as we should, as we need. So, yeah.
That's
Anyway,
interesting.
so coming back to this sort of problem that you faced. So, post Brexit, I mean, the situation was bad even before Brexit, as you said. Like with the, if you have a student visa, you can't be self-employed, and if you just absolutely can't be self-employed, you can't do freelance work, and to do any of these, so as what was the word, staff internships, you needed to be a citizen. So, what was the prospect for, say, people like you, for foreign students studying courses like conference interpreting? Was it just null? Because if these,
The other option would have been to work for an agency,
okay.
but the truth of the matter, our trainers, which are working like full-time interpreters, is that agencies have very low rates. They don't pay
Right.
even half. Like it's lower than half of what a real, let's say, European Commission interpreter earns. So it would have been to, I mean, it's an option, but it's not a great option.
What
Working for an agency.
what can be a solution, therefore? Like, I mean, if freelancing is just not allowed, if you have a student visa, and I mean, and if the other thing, like if you can't do any of these proper internships, if you aren't a EU citizen, what's the alternative? Like, what's not we just spoke about the alternative. What's the sort of remedy? Should there be a legislative change, like allowing people?
There should be.
Okay.
There should be. I know our case is quite specific.
Yes.
This is a very small circle. Like interpreters aren't, or interpreting isn't a massive profession. Not a lot of people are interpreters. There are maybe in Europe, but it's not huge. It's not like, let's say, office workers. It's not the same, you know.
Okay.
There, it's a niche, so to speak. So I know that it's very specific for us, but most interpreters are freelance workers.
Oh, I see.
Like most interpreters,
And
it's like 90 something % are freelancers.
And from that, a corollary would be most interpreters are home citizens wherever they are.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Or people who don't need visas to work in those places. So
I remember in the European Commission, their advice to me, because they were like, "Oh, that's so sad that you cannot work here. Why don't you marry a European?" That was, and I was infuriated by that answer. Like, how come my professional future depends on me marrying someone just because of their passport?
Here's one thing that I'd like to add, which is that you do not come from a country, people of which like have like a zeroed out sense of being or even nationalism, in the sense that I don't mean nationalism in a political sense. If you were from, say, Iran, believe you me, that's the first thing you would have thought, because it is sort of the done thing for many Iranians who move out of Iran and find work in the US or in the UK or some European countries. If they can get a second passport or a new passport, they just do it. And it's just that like not many like people from only a very few sort of select few countries will think like that. I mean, if you're from not one of these countries, you won't think like that. I remember like there are so many Iranians who convert into Christianity, make a video of the conversion ceremony. Seriously, make a video, and I feel total sympathy with them. Make a video of the conversion ceremony and try to popularize it by putting it on YouTube and things like that. And then they claim that if they go back home, they will be killed because they have left Islam. And so
that is crazy.
So they claim, what's the word? Not political asylum. They claim citizenship. I know one case where that was successful. Yeah,
I cannot believe that. Yeah, sorry, I just
have to wash your hands.
Yes, I need to wash my hands. so sorry.
That's all right.
I touched something and I need to wash my hands. Okay,
Okay,
back to business.
so
Sorry.
in what ways do you think Brexit and COVID, I mean, the combination of the two, can make the problems that you faced more sort of trenchant, more difficult problems for future generations of people like you? Not future generations, like, I mean, say someone like you who is in the second year of their, the first year of their masters right now, will be finishing their masters in 2021. So what do you think will be more difficult? Do you think will be the extra problems faced by them?
To be honest, I don't know. I actually think the situation might be a little better.
Oh, yeah.
I read in February, yeah, right after we hit the 31st of January mark, which was when Britain officially exited the
Right.
European
Right.
Union.
Yes.
They came up with the new immigration politics, policies.
Policies. Yeah.
And I remember they were talking about this new focus, which was to attract highly skilled migrants,
Sure. Oh, I
hopefully
see. I see.
outside of the EU. And because of that, the new student visas, I don't know with COVID what happened after that, but I remember that the new student visas are going, you see, my student visa allowed me 6 months after I graduated to look for a job. Now that period, it's going to be 2 years.
Right.
So I believed that is a good period. Like in 2 years, you can work something out. If that opportunity were given to me, I would have worked for an agency just to start moving around, to start, you see, in the interpreter world, you have to be known. You have to go and do volunteering and do a lot of interpreting work to start meeting people and meeting new interpreters and meeting networking, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
And that is how you build a client base. That is exactly how an interpreter can get work, by working with other people. So if I were given the opportunity, I would have totally stayed for 2 years, even if that didn't mean me being an interpreter full time. Maybe I would have taken a part-time work. Exactly. I would have loved that opportunity. So I believe that with that new policy, I don't believe it has changed.
Okay.
But with that new policy, new opportunities or better opportunities could have been given to me, offered to me.
So your term time ended in December last year, right? Or was it September?
September.
So did you work part-time, like all the way from September going into January?
I was working full-time as a waitress.
Okay. Yeah. Like you had
just to support myself.
Yes. So you did some non-interpretation work after your visa ended. Not your visa ended. Sorry, after your term ended. Not your visa.
I did once in December. I volunteered for a job in Paris.
Right.
But that was the only one.
So also a technical question, like when you're in the UK and you have a UK visa as a Colombian citizen, do you need a second visa to go into mainland Europe?
No, not as a tourist. If I went into to fully work, I might need a work visa for the Schengen space, but
okay, so you can enter Schengen without
without
anything.
As a tourist, I can be in the Schengen space for up to 90 days.
And is this something that's only I don't know, that only applies to Colombia? I'm sure like there are many other countries. I'm sure US is one of these countries as well.
I don't know about the US. I think it is, but from Latin America, I know Peru and Colombia.
Right.
I think Chile as well, but everyone else needs a Schengen visa.
Right, I see. And so now coming to the topic of remote working, do you think interpreting can be done remotely? Like,
This is another very specific issue for our profession. Before COVID, it was frowned upon in the European circle, at least, to do remote interpreting.
sure.
There is this institution, it's called AIC, it's an association, International Association of Conference Interpreters.
Okay.
And they set the standards for interpreting in Europe, at least. And they have this whole guide of how interpreting should be carried. For example, an interpreter should only work for 30 minutes straight. After 30 minutes, it is believed that the quality of the interpreting will decrease. So when it is a long event, there should be at least 2 interpreters. And they have all these rules and these standards. And in most institutions in Europe, again, it was said that remote interpreting was not a good method for interpreting.
Why?
Because of internet, because we need to properly hear the speaker. We need like there hopefully eye contact with the speaker, because these mannerisms, they add to the quality of interpreting. Because if we, for example, we couldn't hear one word, by the way he's expressing himself, we can make something up. We can make sense of what he said. And so,
and I'm also guessing,
in their standards, remote interpreting was just not an option. And again, in the community, it was frowned upon when an interpreter took up remote interpreting. But now, so now that is the norm.
Oh, I see.
Now interpreters are being forced into looking up for platforms and like research for the best earphones. Like we have this whole new world. Actually, in the interpreters community, there are a lot of new courses and new online seminars about how to deal with remote interpreting. It is especially hard for seasoned interpreters. For interpreters that are over 50, it's especially hard for them. And that is the only way in which we're carrying it out now.
Are you having to do any of these yourself?
I will. At the end of November, I have an event, and it is in Amsterdam. But I will. No. The event is in Amsterdam, but I will be interpreting from the US.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So again, remote interpreting is now the norm.
So how did
7 months ago it was completely frowned upon.
Completely frowned upon. But this Amsterdam thing, how did you sort of get the gig? Because you just said you couldn't be a seasoned. You couldn't be a. Was it through an agency?
No, not at all. It's again, it's networking. I have a colleague who has worked with them before, and she recommended me. So it's a volunteering event. It's pro bono. But
maybe I misunderstood what you said earlier. So when you were talking about home citizens being advantaged over non-EU citizens, I mean EU citizens being advantaged over non-EU citizens, you were talking specifically in the context of jobs at the European Commission.
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
But say it is not a job at the European Commission. Say it's a conference where there, like a normal conference, like an academic conference or something. There's going to be people from different, like people who will be speaking different languages. Then if I'm running that conference, I have the freedom to employ whoever I want. So that's.
Yes.
Okay, I see. And this Amsterdam.
But with the visa, I couldn't have done that. Because you cannot do any independent, So that's the thing. That's why it completely, I'm sorry to say this, but it completely sucked for me. And that is why I decided to go back.
Yeah, because
to Colombia.
There was it was like stalemate. You couldn't do anything.
I couldn't do anything. I was completely hand-tied. Except volunteering. That was the one thing I could do. But I didn't have enough time to pick up more jobs, because 6 months, let's be honest, it's very short.
Yeah, I mean, the postdoc fellowship that I'm currently into lasts for 6 months. So I know like time goes by very, very fast. So
Yeah.
for this job in Amsterdam, you will have to be, I mean, you will be working for it remotely. So we were speaking about earphones, like let's talk about earphones for a bit. So how much is the difference like between say what you're wearing now, I mean the earphones that you're wearing now, and say those big ones that streamers use on Twitch?
Hmm.
Uh, so like,
The main difference would be the microphone.
okay.
Microphone on professional headsets for interpreters are usually noise canceling,
Oh, I see.
and that is the best one. That is what you need to have, because here I live in a house with 3 children. They're quite loud, and I live in I'm in Florida right now, and there are tons of birds that are chirping outside, and like noises and stuff. So because of the internet problem, we must endeavor to have the
Yeah.
clearest of sounds coming out of us. The headsets, I agree, this is very good. This is actually what I interpret with in a booth. Like when I go in person to a booth, this is what I interpret with because I really like them.
But
But the microphone is comes with the booth, and the microphone is usually top quality, and this is not top quality.
I didn't mean to say your earphones look very good. I just meant to say they look
No, don't worry.
standard.
All right. No, but I mean,
Okay.
they work very well for me
Right, right,
when I interpret from a booth.
right.
But from internet, I'm actually researching, and I'm asking other interpreters what I should get.
Have you done any sort of remote interpreting as practice?
I must do it because
What was the experience?
yeah. So this is a skill that develops over time.
Sure.
So if I don't interpret for practice or for any reason, I will, I will be very rusty by the time I go to a real event.
So the
So
Amsterdam,
I have to practice.
so for the Amsterdam event, you said you would be interpreting. So from what language to what language is it? Do you speak Dutch, or is Dutch?
No, 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 no. So they hire for specific languages.
Okay.
For an event, they might always hire or contact French native speakers, English native speakers, Spanish native speakers, and whatever other language native speakers. And they would be the ones interpreting into their own language. So for example, I will be interpreting into Spanish, sorry.
I see. So
I'm sorry.
you will hear something in English and then translate that into
Exactly.
in Spanish. So
Or from French.
or from France. Oh, I see. Okay, because your French is quite good. Um, but one of the questions that I had here is like this huge push towards remote working going to make life less difficult for people who are based outside of any country? I'm guessing the short answer is yes. As you said, like now you can be in the US and uh, do an Amsterdam gig, like play Amsterdam. Uh,
Yes.
and do you think going forward, like because of course, like it is difficult for us to know how long this phase is going to last, right? So do you think going forward, at least say until the end of next year or something, do you think this is going to be the norm? Like interpreting, I'm just speaking
Yes.
for, okay,
And not just until next year.
okay,
I think this has completely set
I see.
a new, let's say, history. At least interpreting history has been changed.
Mhm.
And I really believe that now remote
New norm.
interpreting will never go back to being um, the least wanted.
Right.
It is now going to be the norm,
Well,
and that's a bit worrying, because then of course you cannot charge the same for remote interpreting as for because I mean you have to go there, so they have to pay for plane tickets, and they have to pay
okay,
for
okay.
food and for hotels and for whatever. And so yeah, the rates are going definitely down, which is really bad, because it was, at least in Europe, they had like a standard price.
Okay.
Everyone would go up maybe 50 or go low 50 pounds or euros per hour.
What was the price like? Was it an amount per speech or an amount per minute?
No, it's sorry, it's per day.
Per day.
It's per day, usually because of IEX standards. And that day cannot be more than 6 hours. It has to be 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. We must have breaks every so often. Again, IEC is like the institution
for conference.
Yes. They have a whole book of guidelines regarding interpreting.
So here's another technical question. Is UK bound to follow those guidelines post Brexit?
Well, no one is bound to do it, but it's what yes, exactly. Like if someone were to hire me, I would say, okay, so because of IEC rules, I believe you have to hire another interpreter because it's a long conference. It should be 2 of us, and these are the standards for the booth. This is what needs to be built on site. And you have to teach. Usually, you have to teach the client. You have to inform the client how interpreting is carried, because most people don't know. Most people think an interpreter just goes with a notebook and does the thing, but they don't know how it works. So the interpreter is in charge of letting them know how it works, and that's why we have the IE guidelines.
Right.
I didn't make this up. This institution, which is international, says so.
Why would you make it up? I had no suspicions in that regard that you were making it up. I was going to say, like, going back to one of our first topics that we touched. So if someone had told you, like if someone had sat you down and told you very clearly that, so here's the deal, Sabrina, even if you get into Manchester and do this degree, you won't be able to work freelance because of your visa situation, and you wouldn't be able to work at the European Commission or do any of these proper jobs because of your citizenship situation. Would you have still come to Manchester?
Yes. No. Yeah. Definitely. The program,
you're paying so much more, and you can't do any of the things that your degree should prepare you best for. Then why?
Right. But I mean, there are other institutions, and again, there's always a private market.
Agencies.
No, I mean,
private market, right? Okay,
the private market, like being a freelancer, maybe not in the UK or in Europe, but I mean, with the tools that I have now, I can totally work in Colombia. It doesn't have to be in Europe. I wanted it to be I don't say my dream, but my plan was to work in Europe for maybe 4 or 5 years, gather enough experience, hopefully be a member of IEC, and then go back home. My plan has always been to go back home and be an interpreter in Colombia.
Okay, this is going to be a very naive question, but Colombia speaks Spanish, right? And the country is surrounded by also speaks Spanish, right? Or maybe Brazil speaks Portuguese, but Brazil doesn't have a land border with Colombia, right? Or do they?
We do.
Okay, so other than Brazil, like almost all of the other countries speak Spanish. So what would you?
Yes, but no, we have. The thing is, in Colombia, we have lots of international events.
Okay.
Oh yes, and since we have a peace treaty going on for the past 3 years, we have a lot of UN.
The drug thing, and there's a lot of arbitration.
There are a lot of international ONGs, NGOs that have.
Right? In 2016, they got the Colombian president, got the Nobel president of the Prime Minister, got the Nobel Peace Prize. And I remember there was this funny moment where people realized that the deal that he had just struck could be turned down by the Parliament or the Senate, whatever it is called in Colombia. And I think it was turned down once after the end of time.
It was voted against by the people. Yeah. They had a referendum, just like Brexit.
Yes.
They had a referendum, and the people voted, we do not want this, but the president pulled it through the Senate anyway.
Yes. No, that's a very good point. Whenever there is something with UN arbitration, there's always going to be.
Yes. And again, we have like, you have no idea the amount of seminars and
Yeah, that's why
congress
I said it's a naive question. I have no
about
idea.
medicine, about science, about books, about theater. We have the biggest international theater festival of the Americas,
Oh, I
and it's
see.
in Bogota.
Okay.
So there are a lot of events. Like Bogota is one of the biggest capitals in Latin America.
I know that, but I thought it was, I thought the language-wise things were mostly Spanish, but that's why I said
Yes, but
naive question because I don't.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because people usually don't need Spanish, not a lot of people speak English. So whenever an English speaker comes in, they usually need an interpreter.
Right, I see.
Like Obama went in last year for an event.
Mm-hmm.
This year in April, it was going to be Michelle Obama, but of course the event got canceled or at least postponed.
Right.
But yeah, we have all these international events, and yes, there is a market in Colombia. I just wish I had spent more time in Europe. That's what I wanted, to gather more experience in Europe, so I could become a seasoned interpreter and go into Colombia, into the Colombian market,
After having been
well prepared.
as a member of IEA.
Of AIC, I would have loved that. In Colombia, there are only 2 AIC interpreters in Colombia. In Europe, is thousands.
You could have been the third. Can you still continue your path towards that membership, like remotely?
It's harder in Latin America to be able to be an AIC interpreter. You need to have a certain amount of hours working with an AIC member. I think it's 100 or 150 hours. So that's a lot of hours for an interpreter. And in Colombia, I'm never gonna gather those,
Yes.
Those hours, because there's only 2 of them.
What about in the US?
Well, here things work a bit different. And for an interpreter to be an official interpreter, they have to be approved by the state. Here, each state has to approve the interpreter, and you have to be either a medical interpreter, a legal interpreter, or a community interpreter. There are different standards to each one. It's harder. Here in the US, every state has a different thing.
System, yeah. No,
but having said that, I would love to work for the UN. The UN here in New York is one of the biggest
employers of interpreters.
So I would love that. But to be able to pass the test is the hardest one. I need to practice. Like, I need to practice in real life. So that's what I want. I want to practice. And the place where I can get to practice the most is in Europe, because there are so many events, so many volunteering events. You meet so many people, you can hear different accents. Like, that was the place to be an interpreter.
Also, again, another naive question. Like, as you know, like Texas, used to be a part of Mexico before the war. There was this war, US part of Mexico. So Texas, California, they have a lot of, I'm guessing the word that Americans would use, they have a lot of, what's the word, Latino people?
Yeah, they say Hispanic.
Yeah.
I don't like that word, but they say Hispanic.
Hispania was what was it, like a Roman colony or something in, what is it, present-day Portugal, present-day Spain or someplace?
Spain.
Yes, I don't get why people in Berkeley or Los Angeles should be Hispanic. Anyway, whatever. So don't these places, I'm asking because I really have no idea, do these places have a lot of interpretation opportunities?
Definitely. I follow a lot of interpreters, and because they are the southern states, they are the ones that get the most migration from Central America. So they do need a lot of translators, and not only with Spanish. I have a friend who works in New Mexico for an NGO that works with migrants, and they have a lot of West Africa immigrants, a lot of Middle Eastern immigrants. So they're looking all the time for, let's say, Swahili interpreters, or even Hindi interpreters.
Sure.
You know?
Hindi, Urdu, yeah.
It's
But I mean, how did these people, like, why are these people entering the US from the southern border instead of like through air?
it's the easiest way through the river.
Through,
We
no,
call it the hole. In Spanish, we call it the hole
but
because it is
sure.
a hole in the
No,
border,
but say
the
someone from
river.
Middle East, how did they get to Mexico or like
They
someplace?
trap. Listen, in Colombia, we catch a lot of people from China traveling. They come to the continent and then they walk upwards
Huh?
to Mexico so they can get in.
Walk upwards, like that childish game. You look
Yeah,
at a
they
map and say,
walk.
how long will it take to walk to London from, I don't know, Tierra del Fuego? Like that sort of.
I don't know. And it's hard between Colombia and Panama. There's a huge. It's called the Darien Gap. So we have this road that starts. I believe it starts in Canada,
Mhm.
and the last part of the road is in Argentina or Chile. I don't remember. It's called the Pan American Highway, but it has 100 kilometers gap in the Darien Gap, which is exactly between Panama and Colombia,
Right.
because it is a thick, thick jungle. Think
Exactly.
of the Amazon,
Yes, 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 yes.
that thick,
I know
right
about this.
there.
That is the bit which
And
is
it's so dangerous.
and do people try to cross it?
Yes, I mean, you can cross it, but it's very hard, and you must do it by foot or to rent a boat from Colombia and to Panama.
Yeah.
And there are lots of those, but yeah, we have a lot of walkers. Like, we have a lot of people that come from other continents that fly into Latin America, and then they make they make their way upwards to the US or Canada. I have to say most of them
Canada.
want to
Yeah.
reach Canada
Yeah.
because Canada is a welcoming state for other cultures.
Well, I mean, that is at least the reputation. Whether or not the border agency people think that way is a different question. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing like some countries of South America serve as the Greece of, say, the Americas, the way Greece is used, Greece or Turkey in Europe. Well, not so much Turkey, but Greece. I see. This
Mm-hmm.
is very fascinating. I had no idea. Well, I could see that it could happen, but I had no idea anyone would try it. Like, okay,
You have no idea the amount of people that will try it.
sure, sure, sure. And also, isn't Panama? Well, I mean, I wasn't going to call Panama. I mean, is the isn't Panama still in sort of the sphere of American influence because of like their
Yeah,
history?
I mean, they did, they own the canal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the US supported Panama in the endeavor of independence from
Independent.
Colombia, because Panama was
Yes,
from
yes, yes,
Colombia.
yeah.
And the US funded, because
It's a made up
Panama,
country, right? It's
Panama bought the land from us, and the US were the ones that, lent the money
lend the
so
money.
they could build the canal and then profit from it.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a made up country, like say, I don't know, Lebanon, like the British and the French made it. Otherwise, like there is no sort of ethnic basis or historical basis for saying there should be that part should be a different country. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And does the name even have any proper like linguistic etymology? Panama?
Panama? I don't know.
It sounds like
I've never asked myself that.
Pan American something. It sounds like. Um,
Maybe.
that is very interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
the last bit that we wanted to talk about, almost out of no, we started like a few minutes after 9. Um,
Yeah.
uh, was about getting further education, like getting higher degrees. So you already have a master's, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in conference interpreting or those kind of courses, is it very common for people to come from other areas, like you came from business administration, and then
Yes, it is actually encouraged too.
right, I see.
Although most of the people I met in my master's
Mhm.
came from a linguistic background. They were literature majors or linguists,
Philosophy,
or many of them were started out as English teachers, as
right?
English as a foreign language teachers, and all that. But I when reading about interpreting, it was they said that it was encouraged to come from other backgrounds other than linguistic backgrounds, because the job of an interpreter is to know everything, a bit of everything. We have to know about geography, about politics, about biology, about science. You know, it is, the more you know about everything, the better you will be as an interpreter, because your vocabulary will be a lot, you know, a lot wider, you know. It is said that interpreters are the best, how do you call that in the UK? I just forgot. Like quiz night. How do you call that? Quiz? Is that a quiz?
Pop quiz?
Yeah, the pop quiz. We are the best at the pop quiz because we know all the Nobel prizes,
Right.
all the, you know, all this random information. Exactly. Because we're supposed to know that.
We can try that for a bit. I was because
Lord.
I have a friend, and she claims that her brother is very good at seeing the outline of some country on a map.
Me too.
Really?
I trained for that.
Really?
I have a game. Yeah, I have a game in which I have to place the...
The thing is, doing it with Europe or even Central Asia, I can sort of see, like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, I can see. But doing it in like Central Africa.
I know. Africa is the hardest
like
one.
DR Congo, then actual Congo, Ecuador.
But I know them already.
Wow.
Yeah, I can place, you know, with my eyes closed, at least 180 countries in the world.
That is very...
the tiny ones from, you know, Tuvalu, Vanuatu, those tiny ones, I get, it's not that easy. Okay. But the big ones, I know.
How many countries can you name of Australasia, Oceania?
Oceania, let's say 10.
I know
maybe
PNG, Australia, New Zealand. What else?
Okay, Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Togo, Vanuatu, Tuvalu, the Solomon Islands, the Marshall Islands. Did I say Togo? It's Tonga. Sorry, Tonga.
Togo is in Africa, right?
Yeah, sorry, Tonga. The Solomon Islands. Then there's French Polynesia.
French Polynesia.
French Polynesia. That's a whole country.
Isn't it a French overseas
Fiji?
Fiji. Oh, yeah, Fiji. That's good. That's
yeah. Good. There's like 20 of them, but...
Yeah, I know there are many. That's, are you also quite good with... Like, isn't there a part on the... Like, on every paper map, it looks like there is this point where 4 countries meet. So there is Mongolia, China, Russia, and... Or am I getting it wrong? Or is it Tajikistan? We can, in a few minutes, like I will end this thing with playing, because it's very easy to bring up on the internet.
Yeah.
Finally, like absolutely finally, before the game of obviously. So what is your opinion on postgraduate courses in general? Postgraduate courses, if I am an overseas student and say I am from Chile or like some South American country or some country, not Africa, like countries which have sort of favorable visa treaties with Schengen countries, sort of favorable in the way that you can go there without a visa to tour. If I am thinking about, and I have some language similarities, say I speak English as a native language, I'm from South Africa or something, I speak Spanish as a native language, French as a native language, I'm from Cameroon or Cote d'Ivoire, however you say it, Ivory Coast, what's the French name? Cote d'Ivoire. So if I'm thinking about taking up a postgraduate degree and I'm already doing an undergraduate degree in, say, interpreting, what would you advise me? Would you advise me to not think about doing that? Because you are still having to pay £20,000 for a remotely done degree.
I would say it depends on what your goals are. For me, again, I would do it all over again, even knowing that I won't be able to work for the European institution, because the trainers were amazing. They were, I believe, now being graduated and knowing what other programs were like, I believe that was the best one for me. They have a very nice method. They have, again, just great teachers. They are very, very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And that does not happen, like, for example, in the Paris University.
Oh, I see.
It is known that their method is completely different, which is fine, but it would have not been the best one for me. I needed support, I needed encouragement, and you can't get that from the Paris University. I know, because we had a student coming from Paris during the summer, and he told us about it, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad the universe conspired for me to come to Manchester.
Yeah.
Out of all places, I went to the best one, and I had the best support group with my colleagues, my friends. It was just the best. So just as an experience, I think it's well worth it. And then
Even
from
if
a
you're
professional
Even if
point of view,
£1,000.
sorry?
Even if you're paying £15,000, £20,000 to sit in a flat and do Zoom lectures.
But you know what? Most of my friends, I did pay from my own money,
Yeah.
but most of the Latin American people I met had a scholarship.
Really?
The UK does have this chevening program of scholarships, and I would say 80% of the people I met there were on that scholarship. And so it helps, like every bit helps. I have to say it is expensive, but so was the university of everywhere else. You know, it was expensive. As a non-EU student, it was expensive. It was going to be expensive anyway.
Mm-hmm.
For example, my first choice was Switzerland. That was
Very
the one I wanted, the one in Geneva. But as a student, you cannot work in Geneva or in Switzerland.
Of course.
And so how do I support myself? You know, it was very cheap. I have to say, every semester was 500 Swiss francs.
But living expenses were
But living expenses were more than double of what I paid for the UK. So, you know, it's a trade-off. So again, it depends. To answer the question, it depends on what your goals are. But I believe as an experience is very valuable. If you're going to use English in your career, definitely go to the UK. Definitely go to the UK. If you think of English-speaking countries, except for Malta, maybe, the US is much more expensive than the UK. It is much more expensive. I paid around 20,000 pounds. In the US, it would have been $80,000. 80. For, I mean, it's just not worth it. Like,
crazy. Yeah.
So it depends, but I would, again, do it all over again.
Hey, come on. All over again? You will spend all
Yes.
the money and then be told that you can't.
I mean, I would. I just had such a lovely time, and I fell in love with the profession all over again. And for me, that was very valuable.
Sure.
I just wish I had gone in the new conditions. In the new conditions of 2 years after term time finished, you can stay in the UK and try to look for a job.
No, but in that case, you would have still been working. Oh, no. Say you started in 2019 rather than 2018. You mean that?
No, 2020. Yeah. Actually, full disclosure, our program just closed. So there are no more interpreters from Manchester University.
Oh, wow.
Jose's program was the last one.
Wow.
They were the last prom. Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for them, like bad for the program.
Yes.
Like if Jose is a specimen of what they can produce at their last go, I feel bad for them. Anyway.
It's very sad. It's very sad. Actually, the European Commission wrote a letter to the headmaster of Manchester University saying that it was unbelievable, it was unacceptable that the UK,
you mean
because
Chancellor?
that was, sorry?
You mean Chancellor, right? Not headmaster.
That's what I meant. Sorry. That's what I meant. And they were flabbergasted because that was the last conference interpreting program in the UK. So they said that it was inconceivable that the UK would no longer produce
Mm,
Conference interpreters, especially during Brexit time. Like,
yes.
it was unbelievable to them. Then they sent a whole letter, but at the end, sorry to say this, and I know this is being recorded, but at the end, the university is a
Yeah.
business.
It is a business, yes.
It is a business.
Yeah.
So if they don't see any profit, they won't go for it.
Okay, let's name countries. We will end with this. I'm going to share my screen. I have this on. You can
Let's
just,
see.
I'll take my cursor, and then you can, okay, where do you want to start? Click on Ukraine. Where is Ukraine?
Oh, it's the big one right here.
This one?
No, up,
That's Turkey. That's Iran. I don't know.
up, to the left. There, that's the one.
Very good. Click on Iran. Is this Iran?
Yeah, that's the big one. Yeah, that one.
Cameroon.
Cameroon, it's right. Okay, go up. It's by the coast. Up. There, that's the one. No, go back. Go back. That's not that. It's the one in the corner. Yeah, that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Very good. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Name India. Okay.
That's an easy one.
Iraq.
Iraq, it's right next to Iran.
This one?
No, to the left.
Oh, this one.
No, down.
This one.
Left, there, that one.
This is not Iraq. This one?
No, that one, yeah.
This.
Yeah, that one, the small one, yeah.
United
There
States.
you go.
Mali. Java.
Mali, it's the big one. So in the north of Africa, no, it's in Africa.
No.
Yeah, it's Africa. So
Okay, Bali. Sorry, Bali is here. Mali. Yeah, sorry. I'm very sorry.
Yeah. So to the left, it's the big one. Left. There, that one.
Oh my God, you're so good. Indonesia. This one?
Yeah, that's the one. It's
Zimbabwe. Here.
It's no.
Yeah.
Wait, Zimbabwe. No, that's yeah, it's the one. That one. No. In the middle, that one.
So this is what, Namibia? Zambia.
That's yeah.
The big one?
It's right next to Zimbabwe.
Oh, here.
Yeah. I think that's the one, yeah.
Oh my God, you're so
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Morocco. It should be here,
Yeah,
right?
that one. Yeah.
Mauritania?
Mauritania. It's the big one. Again, go up. It's in Africa.
Oh. Okay, it's not in
Yeah.
Mauritius. Okay.
It's the huge one.
This one? No, that's Algeria.
Yeah.
Isn't that Algeria?
No, that's the one. No, that's not Nigeria. Oh, that's Algeria. Yes. So it's right below Algeria.
Niger?
No. Oh my gosh. Mauritania. Wait. It's right next. Yeah, I think that's the one to the left of Mali.
Very good. It's yellow because we didn't.
France,
France is
you
here.
know what it is. Yeah.
Mongolia.
Mongolia is the big one. Yeah.
Botswana.
There you go. Botswana it's that one. That one. Exactly.
Yeah, we've already clicked on Niger.
Niger, you already know. That one, yeah.
Kenya should be this.
Kenya is the small one.
Oh, small.
Wait. It's up. Go up. That one.
Very good. Germany.
Germany next to France.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, that one. That's Poland. That's Poland.
This.
Germany. Nigeria is right next to Cameroon. Yeah.
Which one was Cameroon? This one.
Yeah, the yellow one. So on the left, that one. That's Nigeria. Australia. Chad. It's on the left of Libya. That one. No. Up.
That's Sudan.
No, that's Egypt.
That's Egypt. Sorry.
To the left. That one.
Namibia. Namibia should be this one.
No, it's to the left. It's on the left.
This one?
There.
Mexico.
That's an easy one. Libya. It's there. Right there. Poland next to Germany, Egypt on the corner. There you go. Turkey, Peru. It's the big one on the left. No, go left. That one, yeah.
Oh, Peru is so north.
South Africa.
Somalia, okay.
Somalia. No. To the right.
This one?
To the right. I can't remember which one of the two. I think it's that one. It's that one in Ethiopia.
Oh,
Maybe, yeah, that's it. It's the one on the right. It's the horn. Yeah, there. That's
of course,
Somalia.
Horn of Africa, Mozambique.
Mozambique. No, that's Madagascar.
Yeah.
There, that
This
one. That's Mozambique.
Kazakhstan. All right.
Oh my lord. So this is when it gets hard, right? It's the big one, right? Next to Mongolia, that one. Yeah, it's the big one.
Madagascar, of course.
It's the island. Denmark is, oh no, it's in the north of Germany.
Land border with Germany, yeah.
Yes.
Germany is here.
It's the tiny one, yeah. It's no.
No, this
it's
one.
Below there, yeah. And also Greenland, yeah.
Okay.
Colombia.
Okay.
Up, it's just up of Peru. Up there.
This.
No, that's Ecuador.
That's
there.
Oh, it's quite big. I thought it was.
Brazil is the huge one. There you go. Sudan is also a big one right below Egypt.
Isn't the South? Okay, the South Sudan
is right south. Angola is on top. No, down. Is right north of Namibia. So on the left, yeah, there. Saudi Arabia, Finland. No, it's the one inside.
This one.
No, the other one. That one. Pakistan. That's easy. Ethiopia is the one we missed.
Bolivia.
That one. Bolivia is in the middle. No sea access. Yeah. No, the other one, the big one. Yeah. Spain is right there. Got it. Venezuela is next to Colombia on the left.
Oh, next to Colombia.
Yeah, we have
Norway.
a border. No, Norway is the one up. So on the left.
Ooh, so this is Sweden then.
Yeah, that's Sweden.
Thailand.
Sure, it's the big one. Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay, go up. No, it's in the continent. Left. No, that's Vietnam. That's Cambodia. A bit to the left. There.
Very good. My God.
Sweden. It's the one you missed. Yeah.
Argentina.
Argentina's the large one. There. China, you know it. China. Canada. Congo is the big one. There you go.
Tanzania should be.
That one. Exactly that one. Russia.
Central
is exactly in the middle. So next to the yellow one. Yeah, there. Myanmar. Yeah, there you go.
Well done. Okay.
That was good. I still confuse a bit of the Africans, but for the most part.
Very well. You did very, very well.
Yeah.
Well, Sabrina, it's been great fun. And you brought up so many things that I wouldn't have ever been able to come up with myself.
Right.
Things about the membership of the IEA, International Association for Conference Interpretation, was it?
Yeah, exactly.
And the kind of challenges very specific to your situation that you faced vis-a-vis the visa thing and the citizenship. So yeah, I'm going to stop recording, then maybe we can speak for a few minutes and then we can leave the meeting. All right.
Okay.